Here is a summary of the full-length audiobook, The Science of Reading People. The audiobook, The Science of Reading People, serves as a comprehensive guide to understanding human behavior beyond spoken words, emphasizing that perception can become one's greatest power. It argues that by decoding non-verbal cues, such as body language, facial expressions, vocal cues, and emotional signals, one can achieve deeper connections, influence, protect, and lead with clarity. The core message is that reading people is not about manipulation or judgment, but about developing empathy, sharpened by awareness, a skill trainable through mindful observation and practice. The book begins by establishing that over 60% of human communication is non-verbal, with our bodies constantly broadcasting messages. It introduces the concept of baselines, a person's natural behavior under normal conditions, and highlights that deviations from this baseline indicate inner conflict or discomfort. Key non-verbal indicators discussed include handshakes, eye contact, and mirroring. Subsequent chapters delve into specific aspects of reading people, decoding the face. This section focuses on facial expressions, particularly micro-expressions, fleeting, involuntary flashes of emotion lasting less than a second. It details the 7 universal emotions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, disgust, contempt, and their specific facial patterns, emphasizing that genuine expressions are often symmetrical and involve the entire face. It also covers cues, like the eyebrow flash for interest and pupil dilation for arousal, as well as self-soothing gestures, like face touching under stress. Body language. This chapter explores the silent messenger of the mind, detailing how posture, gestures, and movement convey meaning. It highlights that the feet are often the most honest part of the body, indicating direction of interest or desire to leave. Hand movements. Open palms for honesty, steepling for dominance, personal space, proxemics, and pacifying behaviors, rubbing palms, playing with jewelry, are also examined. The importance of observing clusters of signals, rather than isolated gestures, is stressed. Vocal cues. This section teaches listeners to listen between the lines, focusing on paralanguage, the tone, pitch, pace, volume, and rhythm of speech. It explains how pitch rises under stress. Rapid speech can indicate nervousness or deception, and pauses can signal hesitation or mental scrambling. Fillers, and throat clearing are noted as potential signs of deception or anxiety. Spotting lies. This chapter addresses the psychology of deception, explaining that lying creates cognitive dissonance, leading to detectable stress signals. It debunks the myth that liars are always nervous, noting that experienced liars may overcompensate. Key signs of deception include disconnects between verbal and nonverbal cues, timing delays in answers, distancing language, avoiding eye, excessive detail, voice changes, restricted or agitated hand movements, and incongruent facial expressions. It emphasizes that no single behavior is proof of deception, and that context and baseline behavior are crucial. Personality patterns. This part expands beyond momentary cues to understanding consistent behavioral patterns. It introduces the Big 5 personality traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism, and the DC model, dominance, influence, steadiness, conscientiousness, as frameworks for understanding individual differences. It stresses observing behavior over time and across various settings to identify core personality rather than surface emotions. Attachment styles are also mentioned as shaping relationship behavior. Situational awareness. This chapter highlights the necessity of reading the room before the person. It explains that behavior is highly context-dependent, influenced by environment, power dynamics, group dynamics, emotional temperature, and even time of day. Understanding the situation helps prevent misinterpretation of individual behaviors, as stress signals can be situational, not inherent. Emotional intelligence, EQ. This section emphasizes that true people reading involves feeling what they feel. EQ is defined as the ability to recognize, understand, and respond to emotions in oneself and others. It covers empathy, listening for emotional subtext, non-reactivity in conflict, recognizing emotional transitions and inconsistencies, and its role in relationships and leadership. EQ is presented as vital for deeper connection and trust. Intuition. This chapter positions intuition as the inner signal, the subconscious processing of thousands of subtle observations that feels like instinct. It encourages listening to gut reactions, distinguishing intuition from bias, and developing energetic awareness through stillness and self-reflection. Microexpressions. Revisited. This chapter offers a detailed re-examination of microexpressions, providing practical tips for spotting the 7 universal emotions in their fleeting forms. It reiterates their involuntary nature and their value in high-stakes situations. Spotting manipulators. This critical chapter outlines how to detect individuals with hidden agendas. Key signs include inconsistency, flattery as a weapon, guilt-tripping, gaslighting, triangulation, idealization, devaluation cycles, and avoidance of accountability. It emphasizes the importance of self-trust, setting boundaries, and emotional clarity to protect oneself. Body clusters. This section reinforces the idea that accurate people reading relies on recognizing patterns of nonverbal cues, clusters, rather than isolated gestures. It describes clusters for openness, defensiveness, dominance, nervousness, deception, attraction, boredom, and stress, stressing context, baseline behavior, and synchronization. For observation. This chapter shifts focus from detection to connection, explaining how empathetic observation fosters trust. Non-judgmental awareness, emotional attunement, consistency of attention, responding to the unspoken, and mirroring vulnerability are presented as pathways to building genuine relationships. The art of calibration. This chapter focuses on what to do with the insights gained from reading people. Calibration involves adjusting one's words, energy, timing, and behavior based on others' signals to build connection and influence effectively. It covers calibrating energy, questions, silence, and boundaries, emphasizing adaptation over manipulation. The Master Reader. The concluding chapter summarizes the journey, framing master people reading as an act of connection and illumination, not control. Master readers are characterized by humility, unshakable inner calm, emotional boundaries, effective questioning, deep self-awareness, and continuous learning. They see people as complex, layered beings, fostering trust and leaving a legacy, making others feel truly seen and understood.